Howard FENDRICH Last updated 3:20 the 28th of January 2019. Mark Kolbe, GETTY Novak Djokovic celebrates after winning championship point in his men's singles final match against Rafael Nadal of Spain during day 14 of the 2019 Australian Open. Cameron Spencer, GETTY Rafael Nadal of Spain reacts in his men's singles final match against Novak Djokovic. Mark Schiefelbein, EP Serbia's Novak Djokovic carries his trophy around Rod Laver Arena after defeating Spain's Rafael Nadal in the men's singles final at the Australian Open Tennis Championships in Melbourne, Australia. Aaron Favula, AP Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. Michael Dodge, GETTY Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. Tennis. Novak Djokovic was so good, so relentless, so pretty much perfect, that Rafael Nadal never stood a chance. Djokovic reduced one of the greats of the game to merely another outclassed opponent, just a guy, really, and one so out of sorts that Nadal even whiffed on one of his famous forehands entirely. In a remarkably dominant and mistake-free performance that yielded a remarkably lopsided result, the No. 1 ranked Djokovic overwhelmed Nadal 6-3, 6-2, 6-3 on Sunday night to win a record 7th Australian Open championship and a third consecutive Grand Slam title, raising his count to 15 overall. An amazing level of tennis, Nadal acknowledged. Read more, Novak Djokovic, exhibition in Saudi Arabia not happening this year. Novak Djokovic edges ahead of Rafael Nadal before curfew calls halt at Wimbledon. Tough French Open starts for top guns. Djokovic, Nadal could meet in semi-finals after dropping only 4 games in the semi-finals. Djokovic spoke about being in the zone. Clearly, he did not budge from there, producing 34 winners and only 9 unforced errors Sunday. And this was against no slouch, of course. Nadal is ranked number 2, owns 17 major trophies himself and hadn't dropped a set in the tournament. But Djokovic left Nadal smirking or gritting his teeth or punching his racket strings, unable to compete at all. So Djokovic added to previous triumphs in Melbourne in 2008, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2015, 2016, along with 4 at Wimbledon, 3 at the US Open and 1 at the French Open. He broke his tie with Roger Federer and Roy Emerson for most Australian Open men's titles. He also broke a tie with Pete Sampras for third most Grand Slam trophies. Djokovic only trails Federer, with 20, and Nadal. And he is gaining on them. A sore right elbow cost Djokovic the last half of 2017. It contributed to a 4th-round loss in Melbourne a year ago. He had surgery about 11 months ago. Add feedback. All that is in the past. The 31-year-old Serb is once again at an elite level. If anything, the gap between him and the rest is growing right now. Djokovic and Nadal know each other, their styles and their patterns all too well. This was their 53rd meeting, more than any other pair of men in the half-century professional era, and record equaling 15th at a Grand Slam tournament. It was also their 8th matchup in a major final. So there should not have been any mysteries out there on Rod Laver Arena's blue court as they began with a temperature, which had topped 40 degrees Celsius in recent days, at a manageable 25 C and just a hint of wind. Right from the start, though, this shaped up nothing like their only previous Australian Open title match, back in 2012, which Djokovic won in 5 hours, 53 minutes, the longest Grand Slam final in history. Evenly matched as they were that night, this time was no contest. None whatsoever. It lasted a tad more than 2 hours. Watching things swing so immediately and irrevocably in Djokovic's direction really was rather hard to comprehend, as was how someone of Nadal's experience and excellence could come out of the gate quite so poorly. Nerves? Perhaps they played a role. So, of course, did Djokovic, whose defense was impenetrable. No ball, no matter how well struck, seemed to be out of Djokovic's reach. He slid and stretched and occasionally even did the splits, contorting his body to get wherever he needed to. Djokovic grabbed 13 of the first 14 points, including all 4 that lasted 10 strokes or more. A trend was established. Of most significance, Nadal was broken the very first time he served Sunday. That gave Djokovic one more break of Nadal than the 0 that the Spaniard's 5 preceding opponents had managed combined. But none of them is Djokovic, the best returner in the game now, and maybe ever. Not a shabby returner, either. Nadal could make no headway on this day. Djokovic won each of the initial 16 points, he served in 25 of the first 26. By the end of the second set, after 75 minutes of action, Djokovic had won nearly twice as many points, 59-30, made more winners, 23-14, and far fewer unforced errors, 20-4, while taking 14 of 17 points that lasted at least 10 strokes. The longest was a 22-shot point which ended when Nadal netted a backhand to give Djokovic a set point at the end of the first. Djokovic raised his right fist and held it there while staring at his guest box. He was on the right path. Nadal could do nothing to stop him. AP